Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Real men are ripped. Is the indisputable fact we'll be discussing today, so I'll be telling you exactly why that is, what my definition of being ripped is, and the shape I know that every man could be in and definitely should be in. But first, let's get to some of the excuses that inevitably will have popped into the heads of some people watching, like, nah, it's not just about the body, it doesn't matter how you look, you can totally be a man, regardless of how you look. Oh yeah, could totally be a fat fuck, still be 100% man. Oh yeah, you can be skinny and frail and look as if your arm is about to break if someone just shakes your hand a little too hard and still be a man. Look guys, even if I grant you that the physical is not all there is to being a man, not even close in fact, it's still undeniable that literally every man would be a better version of himself if he also was really fit. Right? Physical fitness is a cornerstone of masculinity, and there's just never gonna be a situation where it's more beneficial to be unhealthier, to be less conditioned, to be fatter, to be sicker, to be weaker. It's just never going to be. Even when we're talking about the domains that aren't physical at all, like let's say a scientist, jacked scientist, always going to be better than his skinny fat counterpart or the skinny fat version of himself, rather, right? Because, the jacked scientist, he is healthier, he is disciplined, hardworking, he's going to have higher energy, more ability to work. Of course, he's superior to the skinny fat scientist. Something like a teacher, if the teacher is jacked, the kids might actually respect this guy and view him as a role model. Like, we should listen to him. Yeah, I totally want to be like Professor Theo when I grow up, not like just a skinny fat clown. Like, we're quiet sometimes, but we kind of don't really respect him, We make a big scene, don't listen to him, talk a lot on his lessons, because he's just a little skinny fat clown. Look guys, let's go through one thing at a time. So my definition of being ripped is not that of someone who's into like contest bodybuilding, because that scale is like, so I consider that my shape right now is to the typical person. I'm ripped, right? Like it is when you are not soft looking, you have abs, you have definition, some muscle mass on your entire frame, a little bit of veins, muscle striations going, right? And it's also not one completely set point, because of course, as someone that practices and teaches natural bodybuilding, I am pro cycles of bulking and cutting, so your body weight is going to change a little bit, but we want to be moving within the lower end of a healthy body fat range. So going down maybe as low as 8% body fat when we cut down, but never higher than 18% body fat when we bulk, right? Rather than 18% being the lower end of our range, and 28% is when we get up to when we bulk like a complete pig, right? So every man, look, because, I personally, I max out muscle mass, it's both because of my liver, it's my goal, they're goals that interest me, right? But it's part of my occupation. But, speaking of solar nights and just men, soldiers, right? Like, everyone has to fight, everyone has to use their body, but there are different strengths and weaknesses to different. We need different kinds of fighters, is what I'm saying. So my point is that it's not that every man just has to max out muscle mass. Someone like me, I'm the guy moving with the heavy two-handed sword, like ah. But we need more agile men with smaller swords or with bows and whatever too. They're still fit though. So what I'm saying is, the shape that I know every man could be in and that he should be in is that you should have some muscle on your entire frame, and you should be lean, not soft, all right? The Stoics despised softness, and if there's something a man should not be, it is soft. So look, that's the thing, guys. Some people think are on steroids or something, they're not really that big. It's the low body fat that just makes it pop. When you have just some muscle, the intermediate amount of muscle, when you're lean enough, it's going to pop. And this is the look, I mean, that every man should have, that even if you maybe are into other sports, it's not just about lifting heavy and building muscle. You should have some muscle, because that will benefit you in all these other areas, apart from your health and that, of course. So I'm saying the shape that every man could be in is like, really, I'm thinking of the shape I was in after 2 years. Let's see if I can find that. Like, even 1 year. To be honest, like, I was way smaller than I was right now, but I was ripped, okay? And so let me tell you why I associate this with being a man so intensively or whatever. It is, we think, I've talked about this before, it's kind of metaphorical, you know. What happens when you, in the process of getting ripped, right? And we're saying that being ripped is when you put on some muscle mass on your entire frame and you've shed a lot of the body fat so you can actually see this muscle mass. What happens in that process, really? Well, through hard work, we're putting on a lot of useful tissue, right? It's like we're collecting through hard work something good that will benefit. So muscle mass is beneficial tissue, while body fat, it's literally just energy that sits there. And yes, we need some reserves of body fat, but beyond a certain point, it's just literally dead energy. You have taken in more energy than you could even use, so it just sits there. It's not useful for anything. So when we're building tons of this productive mass and then shedding all this crap mass that is literally just weighing us down, a lot happens to you in the process. The same thing is happening to you metaphorically. You become hard, quite literally, through the disciplined hard work in the gym, going consistently, pushing yourself harder, always getting beyond the previous version of yourself. You're consistently beating yourself, so you look hard because you become hard doing these things, right? And when you cut fat, you know, a man chooses purpose over pleasure. You can see on a ripped man, he is purposeful, right? What is a ripped man? He is disciplined, he's hardworking, he's clearly not just indulging in meaningless pleasure. You can see it right on his body, just like you can see on some big fat ass that this person is just enjoying the sensory pleasure of putting a bunch of processed drugs into their mouth, really. So you see, when you stay disciplined, you feel that animalistic just urge to have something, but choose not to, you know. And you do this. You deplete yourself in order to achieve a higher goal other than just your momentary pleasure. You see what happens in the process. You're building a bunch of strong traits by putting on this productive muscle mass, and you're shedding a lot of just literally soft, weak parts of yourself, you know, the pleasure indulger, the lazy person, you know. So this is why I associate it with being a man so much, and why I think every man should be in this range, the lower end of a healthier body fat percentage, and with some muscle mass. Exactly how much that muscle mass, it depends on what kind of fighter you are, you know. It's like, again, you know, take me, with martial arts or something, there would be one faster, boxing guy, right? He would still have muscle. He'd just not be huge, and he'll be ripped, right? Then you can have, like, a wrestler would be my, I'm not so agile, I'm not so fast, I'm more like big and brute strength. But both of these, they fit within the framework I put here for being ripped and being in the shape I think a man should be in. So this is what I want guys to realize. Well, first of all, it's incredible to me that there are guys that are so into, like, playing games and leveling up their character in the game, and are completely missing out on the fact that you have a much more exciting game with infinite room for development, and it's actually you're leveling up in the video game of life, right? But the other thing is that even if you're thinking that, you know, oh, I've never really been into so much, like, looking a certain way. You know, like, honestly, that's what you gotta understand. For me, I love having the fun of building my sculpture here, but it's not really about the look. It's about becoming the man, being the man that does the hard work, right? People think they're looking for the result in the look many times, but what you're really looking for is being the man whose just way of being manifests itself into that look. It was never really about the look. So while I love my physique, I love my body, I think it's very good looking, I think it's cool to, when I have a good pump and take a good picture and all that, it still comes second to being the man that has accomplished that has that is that, okay? So even if you're a guy, that just feels like it's never spoken as much to me. Like, I've never felt I need to look a certain way, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great, because, like, that's not the place you should be coming from into this. But still, it's also so easily becomes an excuse that, oh, I don't really care about muscle. No, I'm not care about my looks that way. It's so much more that happens with you than just your look changing. The look is merely an expression of the man, all right? And yes, just some final things I wanted to talk about. That, again, it's just how I say that you shouldn't get fit to get a girl. Like, that shouldn't be your motivation, but it's not like there's something wrong with being aware of this, that yeah, me looking better, and also these changes I'm talking about, becoming the man that looks better, that will also benefit me with girls, but that shouldn't be your main motivation. But how is it just so obvious that being ripped is like being in a certain shape is what a man should be? It's like, it's again, you should never go for being the Chad for like external results. You should go for it because it's the right thing to do. As a man, you should follow your mission ordained by God, right? Be what you think a man should be. But I'm just telling you, be aware that you get all these external results, that people are just so obviously impressed with you everywhere. They look at you, I catch people staring at me all the time. I'm also talking not when I'm not necessarily when I'm shirtless. There's a bumblebee here. Why do they always have to be right in my face when I'm recording videos? You know, what can they even collect from me? Where were we? Oh yeah, like it's just so obvious the way people look at you, admire you. You know, you become an example. People just intrinsically know this is a man. There's no denying it, guys. You can try to separate the physical and mental or whatever. They are intrinsic. You can't. Being a man is not just about I don't know, thinking a certain way. It's not just about looking a certain way, it's about being a certain way, but they all go together. I'll say it one last time. There's nothing about the look of a man, the physique of a man, without the man that manifests that physique, all right? This is what people don't understand with manifestation. It's not just sitting and saying little nice affirmations and something just magically appears. No, you manifest stuff by being it. Being it. If you want to manifest confidence, status, admiration and stuff, you become admirable. You reach that shape, you become it. Okay, guys, so I'll tell you the last thing, okay, very last thing, just so you know what you're supposed to do now after watching this video. If you are skinny fat, completely new to this, congratulations. All you have to do is eat high protein and eat slightly below your maintenance. Start crushing those weights. You'll melt progressively overload in the gym. You'll melt off fat as you put on muscle, and then when either starts to stall or both, you can now choose, should I put on muscle or should I cut down? If you have some muscle already but you're quite soft, your mission is now to cut down, all right? Cut down, lose that baby fat for good. And if you are just skinny and frail looking, well, you should bulk up first, put on the muscle mass first. Then if you gain more fat in the process that you want to do, cut down. But what I say is that the leanest shape you achieve, I'm not saying that every man always has to walk around. It's like me. You know, my leanest shape, I'm a little bit above like the peak lowest, but I'm still at the leanest, most ripped range of my range, right? It's more that if you have achieved that, and you can do it, you know you can do it again, that's kind of enough. Then you don't have to be at your lowest level. To be honest, if I would just completely stop doing YouTube and all of this, you know, I might cut just as the challenge to prove to myself that I've done it, but I know it already. It's so much just a part of my job these days. But this little challenge to hey, now it's time just to show that I can do this. Choose a purposeful goal over the pleasure of just eating whatever I want, right? So guys, I do, you like and comment. I'll be very curious to hear your input. I do holistic bodybuilding coaching. If you need assistance or can use it, it's the fastest track to a good result, using the help of someone that has a similar result you're looking for yourself. So you can send me a DM on Instagram or email me. It's in the description below. I'll get back to you and tell you about my different programs. You could buy my training book. It will also support you. It's very geared towards you taking action, has to do with all of this. Link in the description for that as well. If you just want to support me and my content, you can become a Patreon, a member of the channel, or leave a little super thanks comment. It's all very much appreciated, guys. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. A man is ripped because he is a man. Oh, peace.